In part 1 of this series, I explained what NSR is, how government will use the coronavirus pandemic to justify expediting the whole NSR process, and how we as citizens have to keep demanding that legal safeguarding systems be in place before NSR is rolled out. So do these safeguards work? Yes, they do. In September 2018, the Supreme Court of India passed a judgment that prevented government and anyone else from using our Aadhaar data for any other purpose than what it was designed for.
कोई निजी कंपनी आधार कार्ड किसी भी चीज के लिए नहीं मांग सकती, कोई बैंक, कोई मोबाइल कंपनी, कोई एयरलाइन, कोई स्कूल नहीं मांग सकता। आधार कार्ड सिर्फ सरकारी स्कीम्स जिसमें कि कोई सब्सिडी दी जाती है उसी में मांगा जा सकता है.
And this made it pretty much impossible for both the government and the private sector to misuse our Aadhaar data. When the ruling came out, the team working on NSR realized that this was now going to be a big barrier in what they wanted to achieve, right? So they started exploring further options. In fact, Telangana government approached the central government and said, hey, we have already developed this system of integrating data from all the various departments together, which you can access in one click, and we have not used Aadhaar, so we are not actually breaching the Supreme Court judgment at all. Eventually, the central government decided that they will stick to the whole Aadhaar logic that they had already considered, and to bypass the Supreme Court judgment, the plan was to just change the rules and regulations pertaining to Aadhaar. How do we know that? By RTI. Once the Aadhaar regulations are changed and it becomes legal for the government to integrate the Aadhaar data with NSR, I can tell you right away that the government is going to go ahead and propose addition of further insane data points to the system. See, the scope is unlimited, but it could be anything, like it could be physical movement of every individual's data captured via face recognition of the CCTV footage linked to our Aadhaar and going back to NSR. And if you think I am being paranoid by saying all of this, I can tell you right away, this is happening in so many countries in different forms right now. Many of us would have heard recently how South Korea has been able to bring down the spread of coronavirus.
South Korea would saw its first confirmed case the same day as the United States, now appears to be flattening the curve.
A country like South Korea seem to be coming out of this thing after 2 months. Something they're doing is working.
How do you think they managed to do that? Amongst other things, they relied on CCTV footage, tracking financial data, and tracking phone data. At least in South Korea, most citizens are already aware of this and kind of are used to being tracked in certain way, which is certainly not the case in every country. Iran, for example. In Iran, the government has rolled out an app for citizens to download to determine if you or your loved ones have been infected by coronavirus, without informing the downloader that the app sucks up personal information and tracks them in real time. Look at what Israel is doing.
Cell phones of quarantined citizens and virus carriers can be tracked by Israel's domestic intelligence agency.
This is aiming our basic privacy. That's the problem.
Washington Post reports that Israelis who have tested positive received messages informing them that their cell phone data would be used, no consent required. Even European countries are jumping onto this bandwagon. Poland, for example. Just last week, Poland launched a smartphone app that is sort of mandatory for those who have been asked to undergo the 14-day quarantine to download on their phones. This app uses geolocation and facial recognition for authorities to track the quarantined users. Throughout the day, the app keeps requesting them to keep sending selfies so that the authorities know that they're in the house. And if they don't revert at any point of time within 20 minutes, it will automatically inform the police. Now look, you might be thinking that, hey, even in India we have seen how stupid people can be and sometimes such measures might be required in times of emergency. But here is the thing. Temporary measures taken during the time of emergency have a nasty habit of lingering on for way too long, even after the emergency is gone, because there is always a new emergency lurking on the horizon.
Extreme measures of surveillance, especially biometric surveillance, which will be, again, justified as a means to deal with this emergency. But even after the emergency will be over, it will remain.
Israel, for example, declared a state of emergency during its 1948 War of Independence, which justified a range of temporary measures from press censorship to land confiscation to a special regulation of how to make pudding. The war has long been won, and yet all these temporary restrictions still remain valid, except that pudding law, which kind of I think was discarded in 2011 to the delight of most Israelis. Now, some of you might be thinking that, hey, India is not like Israel, China, South Korea, Poland. Now, we are a great country. Here, it's not going to happen. After emergency is over, after terrorism alert is over, after the social welfare is done, after we have made sure that all the poor have been helped, then we will not invade the privacy. But that probably means you forgot what I said at the beginning. India already is top 3 in world's most surveilled state. And there are many factors responsible for this rating. Even before Modi came to power, back in 2013, Reuters reported how India already had put in place an elaborate system to tap phones and emails in a way which required no oversight from court or parliament.
NewsX now has exclusive access to documents stating that the Home Ministry ordered a tap on more than 10,000 phones and emails in the month of December 2012 alone.
Just few weeks ago, before this whole coronavirus pandemic took up all the news, there were these news articles reporting how Department of Telecommunication through its local units had been collecting call data records, CDRs, for consumers in the circles of Delhi, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh and Punjab. For Delhi circle itself, they ended up collecting CDR for every single 53 million subscriber. No reason was given to the telecom companies. The government has been forcing WhatsApp, it has not been successful so far, but forcing WhatsApp to add a digital fingerprint to every single message sent so that it can always track when required. Facebook, that owns WhatsApp, is currently fighting a case in Supreme Court with the government of India to kind of not let that happen. And remember how last year, November time, there was this Israeli spyware that had supposedly infected a lot of high-profile WhatsApp users.
WhatsApp has confirmed to NDTV that it has contacted Indian users of WhatsApp this week to inform them that they had been attacked by an Israeli spyware earlier this year.
When one started to explore who were these infected users in India, almost all of them happened to be folks from politicians to academicians to activists to NGO workers who have been absolutely vocal against the existing government. See, the fact is there is no data protection authority in India. There is a data protection bill which is yet to become an act. And even when that happens, we are yet to see how effective that really is going to be. To sum it up, as and when NSR is rolled out, the government will have a lot of power to manipulate us by using our data at a scale that we have never seen before. It's not about BJP or Congress or AAP. No government of any party can ever be given the power to get away if they misuse our data. So if we don't speak up today, the government is going to take us for a ride. The government is going to downplay the negatives and overplay all the benefits that access to a data like NSR will have. Everyone like me who chooses to make noise about legal safeguards being in place will be called an anti-national and a Pakistani-funded ISI agent who is preventing India from fighting its fight against coronavirus and terrorism and all of that. But let that not deter us from making noise, not against data, but for legal safeguard to be put in place. Because as Benjamin Franklin once said, those who give up essential liberty to obtain little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Hi, this is Amrit, your creative, funny, insightful storyteller.
I make a lot of videos, I vlog about my life, I make short documentary films.
3-minute stories. Companies, non-profits, startups, schools, universities, they hire me to tell their stories or the stories of those they impact so that they can sell more, raise funds, attract people to work for them.
And then there's the second type of stories where I go find amazing individuals doing amazing things, and they don't hire me as such, but I tell their stories because their stories deserve to be told. In fact, you can help me fund those stories at patreon.com/WhatsApp.
I come from an IIT business consulting background, but after a few years of corporate job, took a break to become a wedding photographer. I still shoot at weddings across India. There is something beautiful about creating art from weddings. There is something beautiful about creating art from anything.